Asakushi, and you happen to be near Asakushi Temple. Is that what it's called? These Japanese words, I did try and learn Japanese. Okay, I did. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. So it is currently 2021, and I'm just wondering how many of you remember when life existed. So, in short, I went to Japan. I was kind of looking around for the fashions. I was actually there visiting my sister, but while I was there, I was definitely like taking a look, like what kind of clothes they wore and what kind of clothes like were sort of in style. I noticed some things that stuck out to me. That was in 2020. It was actually a little bit before 2020 into 2020 because I was there for a few weeks. 2020 happened. Yeah, it happened. It wasn't a dream.
It's real. So yeah.
While I was there, I did notice some things, and actually I have noticed something else sort of worldwide. Since last year imploded on itself, I did notice that a lot of like fashions are repeating. I think that this is sort of a trend that will happen a little bit where things that are practical will carry over and things that are not so practical will sort of fade out because people aren't going as many places, they're less into shopping. There is something else that I noticed, and that is just the fact that Japan's fashion tends to stay kind of consistent, which is like not the word that you think of when you think of Japan, because their clothing can be like all over the place. I see like kawaii from some people and like grunge from other people, and then there's like a traditional Japanese style, and then there's like a modern traditional Japanese style is what I'd call it. In terms of like year to year, they don't really have like super huge changes in trends. Even though I wasn't in Japan for the purpose of shopping, we were actually there in the winter, and we went like a little bit before New Year. And by the way, if you are going to Japan, we didn't know this at the time, but now that my sister has lived there for a while, the coldest time in Japan is actually like right at the New Year, actually. So yeah, got the coldest weeks that were happening. In terms of fashion for Japan, they definitely have some fashions which will keep you warmer just because it can be quite a cold country. So we were actually in the Tokyo area. There are definitely areas that are colder than that. And then of course in the mountain areas, those places can be just cold because they're cold. There are also places that are a little bit warmer, and if you go like a little bit south, we were in Kanagawa at one point, which is sort of a beachy area, and I noticed that even though we were there at the coldest point in the year, in the daytime Kamakura did tend to be like a more warm and sunny place. Like we got there on like a good weather day as well. Currently on the beach in Japan. In general, it was just like a little bit warmer than Tokyo just because we had gone a little bit south. So we actually went more places than I think we would have been able to if we hadn't been there as long, which was very, very nice. And I have some places to share and good places to shop and styles that I noticed as well. I actually filmed part of this video last year, so yes, I will be sharing that with you. First, I do want to mention, because I'm pretty sure that I don't in my other part of the video, that is the fact that Muji and Daiso are your friends. If you are looking for like clothing or household materials, we got like a mattress pad there, but they also have pens, pencils, and stationery, and clothes, and shampoo, and like many things like this. You can get those in Muji, and that's just like M-U-J-I. It's a very like easy store to find usually, and it is a place that you can get clothing if you're looking for like kind of just standard level clothing and you need to pick something up. I would say Muji is definitely a go-to. And then if you're looking for also household goods like soap and shampoo and things like that, or food or like dishes or just random things like that, then you can try Daiso. And Daiso is like, I want to say maybe, I mean, it's definitely a step up from Dollar Tree. Like they have more stuff and the stuff is like slightly higher quality, and you should be able to find that even probably in more places than Muji. It's just a very convenient store to like run into if you need some things, and maybe like if you were missing some toiletries, because it's not too expensive, but it is also like a store that contains just about everything. And sometimes it will be like on its own, and sometimes it will be sort of as a part of a mall in terms of like it may be on like the 3rd or 4th floor. It's definitely a place that I would recommend. So one of the places that I think might be good for you if you were looking for different stores to shop in would be the Asakusa area. Actually, in that temple area, it's not just a temple, it's actually a huge tourist area. So there is a shrine, and then off of the shrine, there's like a main street. It's actually called Nakamise Shopping Street. So that's where all of the tourist goods are, where you can do a lot of souvenir shopping and tourist type shopping. So you can get gifts for people if you're looking for gifts or little trinkets. They also have clothing. There's kind of a range on the street of types of things that you can get, and also in terms of cost. So there are things you can get for a few dollars. And then we saw a shop that had like handmade goods, which were in the thousands of dollars. But you can find some very interesting things, some very unique things on that street. Also, they have tons of food, like traditional Japanese treats and things like that. So if you walk from the Shensoji temple area, then you will also find stores like Shimamura and Gu and Don Quijote. And those stores are actually like a 5-minute walk, but they're only a few streets over. So I would suggest typing them in on Google Maps. That way you go the right direction in order to find them. Now, what you'll find are kind of like the Japanese equivalent to H&M and Forever 21. So I actually purchased stuff in a store called Shimamura. I got a couple of things in there, and it's kind of like, I would say that one's a little bit more like Forever 21 because it's got more trendy styles. They have stuff for like adults and kids and just like anyone. Also, another store that happened to be in that same complex was a store called Gu. Gu is, I compare it to H&M here, but if you have a Uniqlo, it's Uniqlo. That's what it is. And if you're looking for something that is not as trendy as Shimamura, but not as like adult as Uniqlo, then I think Gu is a good option. It's literally just spelled G-U, Gu. So that one has like stuff for like teen or like young adult age people. I think there was a guys section. I don't remember, but they definitely had girls' clothes. So Don Quijote is a store that I would recommend going in if you are looking for anything in particular, but I would also suggest taking a deep breath and preparing yourself before you walk through the doors, because just about every shelf in the store has some form of advertisement on it or some type of commercial, or maybe it's singing a jingle. I'll just insert a clip so you can see the chaos that is Don Quijote. But if you are looking for something, they have such a wide variety, you are likely to find it. So they have food, I think, on the first floor, at least on the ones that I've been in. And they also have clothing, and they have a level that has like hair products, makeup products, just in general, like hygiene products. They have just about everything that you could think of, including like cameras and stuff like that too. If you are looking to just go and find something kind of random, then that is a store that I would suggest. It is very compact though and very noisy, so definitely prepare yourself. Okay, so moving on, if you happen to be in the Yokohama area, which is south of the Tokyo area, then I would suggest checking out Motomachi Shopping Street. Motomachi has a lot of stores on a very long boulevard. It's a very Western looking street, and it's very cute and kind of like European. They have a lot of cafes and coffee shops, and they also have a lot of very high-end stores. But I think that you will find some good deals on this street as well, because they also have some stores that have sales, especially I think if you go on like a Sunday. I found that in Japan that on Saturdays and Sundays they tend to have a lot of sales where they mark things down. But Motomachi Shopping Street has a lot of options, and I think it's just a nice long boulevard that you can kind of stroll down and check out the shops in. And I think that this street is a good option for shopping. It's actually a few blocks over from Yokohama Chinatown, so you can also go check that out in terms of shopping. And obviously an area that you should check out if you're looking for Japanese clothing that is cute or trendy or edgy, that would be the area of Harujuku. And the street that the shopping street is actually on is called Takeshi Street. So you'll find that certain areas are known for having like clothing or a shopping area or something in particular. but you also have to look for the specific street that it's on, because Harujuku is a whole area and a whole like neighborhood. If you're looking for the highest concentration of clothing, then I would suggest Takeshi Street. It is a very crowded street and it's also pretty tourist heavy, but it's a very good place if you're looking for something that is kawaii or something that is kind of edgy. Now, a lot of the stores that are like on that street are quite expensive, but you can find some little gems if you go like off into the alleys a little bit, and you might find some stores that have some good deals for you. So I will move on to if you happen to be in the Kamakura area. Kamakura is an area that's south of Tokyo. You definitely have to take a train to get to it, and I would say it was about 40 minutes. It's not like super far, but we were on like a speed train, so it skipped a lot of stops in order to get us there in a decent amount of time. And Kamakura is actually a beach area, so it's very pretty, but there's also a shopping street, which I would say is probably about 2 or 3 miles from the ocean. And that is called Toki Dori Shopping Street. So if you're looking for Japanese souvenirs or Japanese like treats that you can eat, that is a great place for that. And it is sort of adjacent to yet another shrine. There are so many shrines in Japan, and a lot of the extremely popular ones have a shopping street that's near or connected to them. So Toki Dori Shopping Street has a lot of things. It's a very cute little area. I personally really liked the town itself in general, and I think it's a good place if you want to find some shops to stop in. And it's also not too close to Tokyo, so you'll find some like local things that are specifically known to the Kamakura area. I would say that you might want to go into the little off streets that are off of the main shopping street if you're looking for more clothing. But if you're looking for like Japanese souvenir type clothing, that will definitely be on the main street. So also in terms of things that I got while I was there, I did get actually this sweater, which I really like, and I wear it almost every day because it's really warm. And I know that like I have sweaters from here, but I'm in California and they're just not as warm. Okay, they are not as warm as the things that I got in Japan. And this sweater actually came from Shimamura. And I also got these wide leg pants from there, which I really liked. These are also very warm, so like they look like they might be maybe like spring or summer, but they're not. They're definitely winter or early fall because they're just like kind of soft on the inside, and they're also very thick. So I really, really, really like these pants. And they're wide leg, which is very convenient, and they also came from Shimamura. And also just some things that I grabbed. I grabbed this ring, not the necklaces, ignore the necklaces. I grabbed just this little ring while I was in Yokohama. It's just like a very cute ring that I like. And I saw like a little jewelry shop off to the side. They also have a ton of other things, but the jewelry shop just sold rings and necklaces and then also some scarves. Then also while I was in a store called George's, I think that's a store that you might happen across in some subway stations. Subway stations have like varying sizes, so whether you're in like a major gigantic one that's more like a mall or a smaller one will depend on what you find, but found these socks in George's and they're warm and they are soft and I love them. Got these. We also have a pair in white, but they have it, they're on their way, they're in the mail. Yeah, because we couldn't take everything with us, so yes. But now in terms of clothing trends for Japan, there were a few things that I noticed. The first thing that I noticed was probably oversized clothing. I noticed a lot of this, and sometimes it was like sweaters and sometimes it was coats or pants, but basically other than the fact that it was really cold, I think they were also kind of going toward a larger silhouette than what you would normally see. I also saw a lot of wide leg pants, and they came in all forms like jeans or just kind of regular slacks, and that's part of the reason why I bought them, but I definitely saw a lot of wide leg pants while I was there. Also, something I noticed, even though most of the people in Japan do kind of keep to a color scheme of black, I also noticed that they were wearing like a lot of pastel colors, so I saw some pastel greens and pastel pinks, and my favorite, which was a pastel lavender, and I borrowed a sweater from my sister that was pastel lavender. Also, something that I noticed is they wore a lot of tight knit sweaters, or like not tight, but just kind of like fitted knit sweaters, especially for the women. And these were usually paired with long skirts. So that was something also that I noticed. And I don't think it was just because it was winter. I think it's sort of a standard sort of fashion style there. And another thing that I noticed was also fur coats. And the fur coats weren't all completely fur. Some of them just had fur around the sleeves or around the collars. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions about any of the places that I mentioned, then just let me know down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.